Well, the literal crap is hitting the fan over in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Donald Trump is dismantling their entire 2030 and New Green Deal agenda, and they are running scared. Not only that, but James O'Keefe has officially infiltrated Davos, and you will not believe the plans that they admit that they have for not only America, but the globe. Now, not only that, I want to show you what happened on the way to Davos because Donald Trump actually had to make an emergency U-turn back to DC due to issues with his flight. Now, Nick Sordo detailed the entire thing, and here's what he says on his X page. Breaking: Air Force One, which President Trump recently boarded to head to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, has suddenly turned around and seems to be headed back to DC. It's unclear why the AF1 pulled a U-turn. Pray for Donald Trump's safety. And you could see Donald Trump there getting into the plane and all of that. But after that, there was an update, breaking update. The United States government motorcade seen on interstate racing lights and sirens to Joint Base Andrews near DC after Air Force One turns around over the Atlantic. And you can see the lights kind of going on there. And then the latest update, breaking update per the White House, Air Force One suffered an electrical issue after takeoff and is returning to DC. Thank God. President Trump will be boarding another Air Force flight to continue his journey to Switzerland, which he has now done as of the making of this video. In fact, he landed there in Davos and he is already giving his speech. So thank God he is safe and sound. Now, I have watched some of his speech thus far, and he did his normal things, right? He called the Green New Deal a Green New scam. I can't help but get a smile on my face. And he also was talking about how good our economy is doing, how low we are paying on our gas, how everything needs to stay focused on an America First agenda, and how these globalists out there listening need to do the same thing with their countries. And that's a little bit on what I heard. But one of the most interesting things that happened thus far at this globalist event is the fact that the U.S. Commerce Department, the secretary there, Howard Lutnick, dropped a bombshell on their laps, and the globalists there are literally shaking in their boots. I'm just going to play the clip for you here so you can hear that. Take a listen to what he said.
Well, I think you should start at a much higher level. Okay? We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind.
Amen to that. And by the way, this is to the T almost of what Donald Trump had said recently in a big forum. Obviously, him and his administration are on the same page, but he's not wrong. It is true. Globalism has failed us. They've done zero good for us. Look, we're already at a few wars. We've got tensions between China, Taiwan, and the United States of America. So we've got a lot of this going on. They've done nothing except for push their radical agendas on us. And their radical agendas are to destabilize our country from within by sending lots of stuff into our country that's really just bringing us down. And Donald Trump says enough. We're not here to make globalism better, like they have been shoving down everybody's throat. The World Economic Forum has openly admitted that they want us to own nothing. They own everything. We rent from them forever and be happy. This is not anything that America is willing to stand for. And Donald Trump says, the hell you will. We are going to hire our own and build our country from within, because globalists has failed everyone, and especially the West here in the United States of America, especially if you think about all the wars that are going on in light of their global initiative that have done nothing. I am tired of their scams. But here's the most interesting part of this entire event was that they were infiltrated by James O'Keefe at OMG Media. In fact, he went in with this crazy blonde hairdo and discovered, as he said, that the climate executives there spilt secrets about carbon taxes, how they want those for all of us, weather modification, chemtrails, aka geoengineering, and even artificial rain, and how BlackRock is behind it all. Take a listen to what he says in this video.
Laser light comms, dark matter. That company, do you have that company in your portfolio that does artificial rain? There might be people around you that would be alleged to have an inclination to do that.
Artificial rain?
God rock behind us.
Put sulfur dioxide there is actually a pretty cheap way to cool down the earth.
Oh yeah.
Let's say I don't want aluminum oxides in my lettuce. You kidding me? A cocktail from hell that they're spreading above our heads.
Yes.
You guys work with carbon taxes at all? We are one of the largest climate accelerators.
I think he noticed your wigs.
At the end there, you can see they noticed his wig. But either way, he infiltrated, and as you saw, he discovered they're all about wanting to carbon tax, weather modification, and freaking chemtrails that they're dropping on our heads. Now, here's another kind of extended video clip with James O'Keefe. And Kennedy Rickey is the president and CEO at 4Air, and here's what he says about some of this weather modification. Take a listen.
They do this all the time.
Have you worked with them at all?
No, because they're a little more closed door about their procedures.
You ever heard of sulfur dioxide?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've heard of that? Okay.
Yeah. It's actually pretty cheap to do it. The ability to put sulfur dioxide there is actually a pretty cheap way to cool down the earth.
Oh yeah.
So the opportunity for one or two people to do it is impressive. He went a little further. He's like, it'd be interesting if the government start doing this over each other's territories on purpose. Like if we start getting to weather modification as a government, either good or bad. Yeah. The closest one I'm aware of is someone called Airborne Snow Observatory. Mm-hmm. They do some more like weather, I don't want to say modification, but more like upper atmosphere weather monitoring is probably a better term.
Yeah. Now,
So there's a little bit about some of the weather modification discussions that are going on in a lot of these circles, but these are all agendas that they were not shy to put on their Agenda 2030 forum. Carbon taxes, we know that they want that, but I don't think they're going to succeed. They 100% will succeed with Donald Trump in charge, but I pray to God that we don't get another Democrat in charge, because that could very well happen if they do, right? But the things like geoengineering and aerosol injections is what they call it here now, is shooting stuff into the sky. These are things that the likes of Bill Gates have talked about and other globalists have talked about. Speaking of the devil, Bill Gates, this is what happened while he was there.
The WEF this year is spirit of dialogue. Let's have a conversation, an open dialogue. Can you answer some of these questions? Mr. Gates, can I ask you what you think about the United States, the HHS and the CDC lowering the...
So there it is. It continues on, and he gets harassed by this reporter. And you know what? These are questions we need to be asking these people anyway. I am tired of them refusing to answer the hard questions. But on top of all of that, he wasn't the only one that got approached by reporters that day. Even Eric Schmidt of Google also got asked the hard questions.
You're the one who fired the starter pistol for censorship in the whole industry.
Wow, amazing that you know this.
Well, I read the article.
You did? What article?
It was either in the Times or the Post.
How interesting.
You talked about a spell check for hate.
Now what you're doing is you're having fun at my expense.
The WEF theme is...
My God, what a problem.
It's a spirit in dialogue.
My God!
Why are you screaming?
Way, amazing.
You're not in control of your emotions.
Because you're pressing against me.
Is this a spirit of dialogue? Is this a spirit of dialogue?
I'm not interested in a dialogue with you.
But that's...
Wow. So he actually raised his voice. He's not very happy with what's going on, obviously. So pissing off a lot of globalists and whatnot. Anyway, I wanted to share you all the latest stuff on what went on at Davos. Obviously, this is very important there. Anyhow, I love you all. Can't wait to read your comments and concerns. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.